we are live with the cameras in the wrong place. Let me
Always.
fix that. And nope, that's not it. That's correct. There we go.
Trolls live.
So with due to the fact that if you're a changeling in this game, you grew up in a human settlement. We aren't the map isn't concerned with where the trolls have settled.
Yep. So we're playing Torchbearer Second Edition. One of us, Jordan, is not available, so we're doing a one-shot of this and just discussing it. As I think Zen and I are the only ones who have played Torchbearer before.
Play Mouse Guard because that's a way easier sell to get people to play with you.
I've
True.
heard a whole lot about Torch. Not.
Yes. So, what characters are available?
Right now we have the dwarf and the elf are taken.
Mhm.
There is the human warrior, the halfling burglar, the human sorcerer, or the human thurge, or cleric, basically. But don't think of it in terms of D&D cleric. It's very different.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, if I can be a human sorcerer, then I can be even more stuck up than I would normally play a human who is traveling with an elf and a dwarf.
This is true.
Great.
Trying to find my sadness stats.
So
The dwarf
sadness,
outcast is still decent at decent at frontline fighting, right?
yes.
As far as I can tell, yes.
Yeah, human warrior's better but more specialized at fighting. The dwarf is good at fighting but more specialized at, I guess, dungeoneering would be the best way
Dungeoneering.
to describe that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna play as Varg,
Arg. All
the
right.
human magician of 21 years old. I think I have a fake gray beard on.
There's Barg. Barg is also decent at fighting due to one of his spells.
Yeah, the magic missile equivalent.
No, it's for defense. Wizard's Aegis.
Oh, okay. Perfect. I shall be Varg. Varg is a prodigy, which means the wizards look down upon him because everyone knows the older a person you are, the better wizard you could be. So that's at least how he sees it.
Are you just saying stuff about Varg?
I'm just saying stuff about Varg.
Okay.
What the game actually says about it is sound mind for tactics and coordinating, not much of a combatant himself. There was little he would shy from doing if it increased his knowledge and power. He is also vengeful. I specialize in cartography, and I am never seen without my purple cloak covered in arcane sigils.
Okay.
Now, of course, you feel free to change names and things to suit your needs, but
I definitely will have to because it seems like this character is centered around another character who doesn't exist in this campaign.
oh yeah, Carolina. Yep. Yeah, you're gonna have
Yep.
to change your instinct.
Let me look at mine.
That's a good point. I mean, that's fine. It's like a coward. But I don't know how to make this elf sadder.
So with the if you want to lean into that, you're gonna have to lean into the remembering aspect of your nature.
Remember how it used to be.
Yeah,
for
that's
everything.
exactly it. Yeah, it's all about nostalgia. You just always wear like pink glasses all over your eyes and never take them off.
Yeah. There's no red flags with rose-colored glasses. That's
Exactly.
how it works.
Everything was better back then. Period.
So Torchbearer, this is we're currently playing the second edition. Torchbearer started as primarily a dungeon delving game. There weren't a lot of overland rules and things like that. Second edition has stepped in and given us more rules so we can do a full campaign. There's even rules now
Good.
for having adventures in the cities themselves, which there weren't before.
Good. Yeah, no, it was
Um,
very much before. Like the dungeon is where the most of the game takes place, and then sometimes you go back to town and everyone hates you there too, but they aren't physically trying to kill you, just trying to starve you. So
yeah, yeah. The general conceit of this game is that adventurers, yeah, you are the lowest rung of society. You are looked down upon by even the dung merchants. You bring nothing but trouble, and you wouldn't have turned to this way of life if you weren't horribly desperate.
hmm
All
And
right.
there is an overarching theme of increased suffering the longer you go on, and the game is about managing your resources to mitigate suffering.
Or maximize.
Well, yeah, maximize. You could maximize.
Yep.
So when every 4 turns, so every 4 rolls basically. So rolls are also a resource in this game. We advance what's called the grind, and the grind gives you a condition every time it ticks up to a multiple of 4. So you start with hungry and thirsty, then exhausted, angry, sick, injured, afraid, and finally dead.
Mhm.
Um, Now you can accrue these conditions from failed tests as well. And if the grind occurs and you're already hungry and thirsty, then you take exhausted. If you have exhausted, then you take angry, etc., etc. Um, which is why the grind is a different order than what's actually on your sheet.
Perfect.
Um,
How do you remove these grinds?
so with hungry and thirsty, it's just a matter of having food
Yep.
or drink. Um, Angry through sick is there are tests involved for a lot of those. Narratively, there are ways to remove them as well. All of you have water skins that are full of wine. That removes angry condition. Get a little drunk, get a buzz on, and you're okay.
Yep.
What about dead?
Dead is dead. There is no coming back from dead.
Can't rule
There
out a
is
dead.
no raised dead in this.
I'm not saying raise dead. I'm saying remove the dead condition.
No.
You can remove the dead condition by removing the character.
Can you be a zombie?
I mean,
A zombie,
there
your
are
your
some
corpse
rules
can be a
for
zombie. I don't know if you can be a zombie.
Yeah. Sorry.
yeah. Once you're dead, if your body continues to move, it's an NPC.
There is also, I believe, what is not called Artha in this game, but is called Fate and Persona.
Yes. So since it's a one shot, everybody take 2 fate and 1 persona, just so we can see how those all work. Because otherwise, you wouldn't get them to the end of the session.
I think I'm just gonna play it as not changing nothing about the pre-built, and if we end up deciding to play Torchbearer, then I'll make the saddest elf, and I'll worry about that then.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Because
Um,
the elves don't have
Doing some
magic
real
in this
minor
edition, right?
I think they have like songs, but that's not the same.
Yeah.
No, that's Burning Wheel. I don't have any songs.
Oh yeah, that might just be Burning Wheel.
I have my nature involves singing, but that doesn't
Yeah,
give
it's
me
just-
magic powers.
It's not magic singing; it's just singing.
Yeah.
Yeah, elves here are more about living in the woods. They're good fighters, really good scouts, decent at like overland travel, that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
You're a wood elf, not a high elf.
I think high elves are sadder.
I don't know. High elves are.
I mean,
Wood elves have it worse, but high elves are probably sadder. That's what I would guess.
wood elves can cope. High
Mhm.
elves are neurotic balls of stress.
Yep.
So starting on the character sheet, you have who you are, which really the only thing we care about here is your stock and class and your level. Everything else is sort of window dressing for the purposes of a one shot. Below that, you have what you fight for, your belief, your goal, and your instinct. We'll fill in the goal once you guys know what you're doing. Feel free to change your belief and instinct. There's another spot for creed, but you don't get that until level 3. And creed is sort of interesting in that you can shape your belief and your creed to butt up against each other, so you can have those, personal conflict things. Instincts, for those of you who haven't played this before, You've played Burning Wheel, you know an instinct is something you can invoke at any time, so it automatically happens and I don't have to screw with you with it. However, in this game, an instinct automatically happens so you don't have to spend resources to do the thing you're doing.
including a turn.
Yeah, specifically in camp, where most of these resources or most of the instincts are pointed towards in the iconic characters. In camp, in order to do an action, you have to spend a check that you earn through play. When you use an instinct to do an action in camp, it does not use a check.
Yeah.
When you use an instinct during play, say like I have an instinct to scout the room for danger every time we go into a new area, that won't advance the grind. You get to do that for free.
Yep. You basically do it instantly or automatically without time passing, either in camp or adventuring.
So
Can instincts
below
be
all of
changed every session
yes.
as well? Okay.
So if I was running a campaign, I'd say let's get a belief that doesn't have to change much first. Like we can change a couple words, maybe add a second sentence to it so you can, quantify it. But instincts, I think my view on instincts is it's highly dependent on the environment you're in.
That's what I was going to say. So if we want this one shot, I suspect, I'm pretty sure. But if in a campaign we were heading back to town instead of camping, I would change my instinct from a camping instinct to a town instinct, for example.
Yeah. If you were going to be spending a whole session in town, that's definitely something I would look into.
Okay.
Below that are your traits. Now, these are defined in the book somewhere, but just take the name. Think of it like a character trait from Burning Wheel. It means a thing. It means the thing it says, but you can define that thing pretty broadly. The traits have two purposes. You can use them for yourself to break a tie, and when you're rolling, or you can use them against yourself to get those checks for camp. So when you use them against yourself, you'll be subtracting die from your die pool.
Both of my traits say they grant dice, at least.
Yeah, that's when you invoke. That's
okay.
the trait level. But yeah, when you invoke the trait for your beneficial use, it's plus 2d for a second level trait, and 1d for first level trait.
Okay.
My traits are firstborn and fiery.
Born of earth and stone and scar.
Yep. So the first trait for most of these is going to be your racial trait. The second one is something you got throughout your life. That's some personality trait.
So firstborn is just that elves were here first.
Yep.
And everyone else
get off our land.
Everyone else is interlopers on elven territory.
Yep. And however you can bend that to either help you or hurt you is up to you during the game.
Yep. Traits I find matter a lot more in Torchbearer than they did in Burning Wheel.
Yes. Yeah, because you need those checks to do anything in camp.
Yep.
Which includes recovery and marking your map and things like that.
Yep.
Then we have, continuing on in the sheet, we have Fate and Persona in the next column. Spend Fate to reroll all sixes as new dice, so explode the roll. Or you can spend it to help someone with a wise and learn from that help.
Because normally you don't get to advance your skills at Torchbearer from helping.
Yeah, you have to spend a Fate to get the advancement to learning the skill. Under that, we have conditions, which we looked at. Under that, again, is how you earn and spend checks, just to remind people. And then at the top of the next one, we have your abilities. There are 3 raw stats. Will and health are what all of your skills are keyed off of. It's basically physical and mental.
Health is mental?
Well, mental and physical. Sorry, I wasn't going in order. So will is mental, health is physical. And then you have your nature, which is defined by the nature descriptors below it and comes from your stock, whether you're elf, dwarf, or human. Your nature, you can use your persona point to add your nature into a roll. If your nature descriptor helps with that roll or falls in line with what you're rolling for, then you just add it and you're fine. However, if it's outside of your nature, if it's something that doesn't have to do with those 3 descriptors, you might be looking at nature getting taxed, which is why there's 2 numbers there. There's a max and a current.
Yep.
Okay.
If nature is ever taxed to 0, it goes down. There are some other bad things that can happen.
If you reach
Um,
like absolute 0 on nature or 10 on nature, you, I believe, similar to Burning Wheel, kind of cease to be a player character.
Yep,
Yeah.
you
In
exit
Mouse,
at the end of the adventure.
Ah,
in Mouse Guard, it's more mouse. It's a mouse to human scale.
hmm
When you hit 10, you're too much of a person mouse to be an adventurer mouse anymore. I think when you hit 0, you're too much of like a scaredy cat mouse. Like just mouse, unintelligent house mouse to adventure anymore. And I think that's my
that's
favorite
also
scale.
great. Yes. Resources and circles are resources and circles. I don't know precedence or might.
So precedence is your the social hierarchy of you and your group. So it's your social
It's even
it's your
adventurers
social
need
score.
someone to look down upon.
I got
Yeah,
a goose egg.
it's a
Me
social
too.
credit
I'm at a
score.
0. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, and that's to indicate that you're rat catchers, right? People hire you to go kill the thing that goes bump in the night, and they really don't care if you come back or not, as long as that thing doesn't.
Hmm.
Your might is an indicator of how strong you are. Most things that we'll be facing in level 1 are might 2 or might be might 3 when there's a group of them, and that'll help when we get into conflicts like breaking ties, setting your party HP, basically things like that.
Yeah. We
Um,
just decided on using the pre-built characters, but how flexible are the classes? Because I'm looking at a pretty long skill list, and it feels like there only some classes have access to skills like magic or alchemy or
Correct. Yeah. The classes will give you broadly a sense of the skills that you're going to start with. This works just like Burning Wheel, though. You notice that anything with a 0 has BL next to it for the advancement. That's being learned. And though the number of bubbles there is equal to your nature score. So you have to get enough tests to equal your nature score to open the thing. So keeping your nature
so
low is beneficial.
theoretically being like a cheery elf will make it easier to learn stuff.
Distancing yourself from your heritage, I suppose.
Yeah, being less of an elf makes it easier for you to learn stuff.
Yep.
Basically,
How
when your nature's high, you are the elfiest of elves, and you only do elf things.
Yeah. The upside to having high nature, though, is that you can roll that nature in place of
oh yeah,
when
you
you're doing
can
an elfie
absolutely
action.
you can absolutely destroy skill rolls. I rolled 10 dice on this op 1 test because it's an elf thing.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken, Zen, this is a more niche thing. It is possible, I believe, to roll nature and add your nature onto the same roll.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, that is a thing. I'd have to look at the exact rule. But yes, you can. If what you're rolling is nature, you can spend the persona to add the nature on top.
Yep.
So if I want to sing, I can just roll my nature by itself.
Now you are testing for advancement of nature, so every time you do that, you're going to mark a pass or fail test,
Yep.
and it can advance.
How mutable are the natures? Is it pre-described 3 words, or is there
It is actually 4 words, and during character creation, there's an option to drop one and take a different one. It's one of the questions you answer.
Oh, cool. So it's a little bit adjustable.
Yes.
And with the nature descriptors, as someone that wants to build custom settings and things like that, all you need is 3 words to describe a race, and that's all the customization you really need to make in this game
Basically,
for
yeah.
a new race.
And yeah. Yep.
It'd be pretty easy to do a weird custom
Mhm.
game then. If it's 3 words for a race.
They look like they're present tense verbs. They're ings, like boasting, demanding, running is what I have as a human. But that's it. Things they are stereotyped to do.
Yeah, and in my view, it's much more of a how the rest of the world views a human, not necessarily how humans actually are.
Yeah.
Or how an individual human actually is.
Yep.
So down to skills. Everybody, we've got a list of skills here. They're pretty self-explanatory, but everybody click Alchemist real quick just so you can see the role, how you roll in this game.
Ooh.
So there are 4 different types of obstacles. There's an independent test, which you're just rolling against a flat ob. There's a versus test where someone else is rolling against you. There's a test for disposition, which sets your HP in a conflict. And there's a simple roll, which is just you're rolling and there's no obstacle at all. Underneath that, you've got a bunch of options. You're using a trait, you're spending persona, you're adding your nature, help parade, all that stuff. This is beautiful for people that have never played this game before, because look at all those options and what you have to remember every time you build your dice pool.
That's really good. Evil GM factor.
Yes.
Wait.
Perfect.
Yeah, when I'm just like, no, that should be harder than you think.
Yep. That's great.
So what you're looking at here is you either see plus or minus a number of D for dice, or plus or minus an S for success. Now, when you add a success into a roll, that doesn't count until after you've decided whether the roll has passed or failed. An added success will break a tie, or will increase the margin of success for better damage and things like that.
But it won't turn a failure
Yeah,
into a success.
Yeah, if you're rolling against Ob 4 and you only have 3 successes, that plus 1S does not count.
Okay. I did not know that.
So the minus 1S
Counts
also.
after. I believe so, yes. It counts afterwards.
Yeah. So you pass the roll, but it's like, it's not as
You don't get any extra successes, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you pass the roll with 1 less success than you needed, so you're not doing any damage. You succeed in attacking, but you don't hurt the guy.
Yep.
So it's considered a pass test for bookkeeping purposes.
Makes sense.
And the nice part about this is when you fill in the dots, there'll be a little arrow next to the stat you can click, and it'll advance the stat for you.
Oh, that's great. Oh yeah.
And if you ever need to edit these numbers at the top of the sheet, there's a play mode and edit mode. If you go into edit mode, you can change numbers.
Sick.
I admittedly just did that after switching out the speciality.
And the last thing on this sheet is the wises. They sort of work the same way. If you help with a wise, you are not entangled in any failures of the roll, nor do you share in any successes of the roll necessarily.
You help from
I'm
a
excited
distance.
about Elven lore wise. I feel like that's everything.
Yeah, if the elves were here first, everything is elvish. It just
Like, sorry, no, actually, that's an old Elven technique. Doesn't matter what you're doing.
Indigo, I'm looking at your sheet, so it's going to change real quick. Along the top, you've got a bunch of tabs. If you look at kit, that's the stuff you're carrying and where it's being carried. Most of you have a pouch or something on your belt. The way I have set this up, and feel free to change it if you want, anything in brackets is inside of a pouch or contents of a container.
Okay.
Do I track arrows? Please tell me no.
No.
Good.
No, but as a consequence, I can say that's your last arrow.
Better. I don't. As much as I love resource management, arrows feel like a curse.
Mm-hmm. They are.
Like,
So
I would rather throw rocks.
I have a question, Zen.
Yeah.
I looked at my 3 spells, and I seem to only have the focus for the center one.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That is intentional.
Well, actually, I added that. Stock, you didn't have any of them.
That's brutal. Well, I appreciate it then.
What does focus do as related to spell?
So
Spell
you
components.
don't need it. Yeah, you don't need it to cast the spell. It only adds dice.
Oh, okay. That I didn't know. I thought I needed it to cast a spell.
No, it's not necessary, but it adds to the dice pool.
Okay.
Is so Torchbearer magic is not sympathetic then?
Meaning?
that the theory behind the magic isn't that like you have a thing that's relevant.
Oh, it's
Because in D&D, it's all sympathetic magic. Where if you're casting an illusion spell, you have to have a bit of wool to pull the wool over someone's eyes and blah, blah, blah. It's all
Yeah.
dumb jokes. Look at the spell components. They're all jokes. Because it's all sympathetic magic, where it's like the components have to relate to the task.
I don't think
No,
that's the
this
case here.
this is much more in line with Vancian magic. I'm gonna have to look at the spell rules again real quick, but you have what's called a memory palace as
see
a
that.
sorcerer. That is the number of spells you can memorize. What I don't remember, and I have to look, is if it's true Vancian magic, and when you cast a spell, you forget it.
What is
Okay.
Vancian magic from again?
Yeah, I forget. Vance was the name of the author.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember if I read it. Or read half of it.
Oh, I have to look. Jack Vance, what did he write? Dying Earth.
I think I read like the first chapter and got bored.
Here we go. I'll check spells real quick. But I'm good to go on.
Yeah. Really, that's all we need to cover. There's the magic stuff. Relationships aren't really going to matter. Your level has your level benefits in it. Basically, at level 1, it just means you are your class.
Fair
Yep.
enough.
That's a good way to do classes.
And the last tab options, it's just the roll style. Don't mess with it. It's fine.
Cool.
But yeah, that's the overview of the character sheet. Any particular questions that you have looking at that?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it'll get more clear as we actually play, but at least there's that little bit of familiarity.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't have an enemy.
You'll only have 3 of the 4. Either mentor, friend, enemy, or parents.
Or
No.
parents.
You can only have 3 of the 4.
I mean, well, technically I don't have a mentor, but my parents are orphans. Good to know.
Yeah.
That orphaning counts as having it.
No, or orphaning counts as not having it. Sort of. But yeah. It's
you
that stuff is
theoretically have the same person in all 3 boxes?
It would not be beneficial, but yes. Because basically those are 3 people that I can throw into the mix at any point when you walk into a town. Like, we know where your parents would live during character creation, so we can set that. But your mentor, your enemy, whatever, they can show up all different places.
Yep.
Specifically the mentor for the sorcerer. Sorcerers keep a library somewhere. During the course of play in a campaign, a sorcerer would have to set up their own, but at low levels, it is assumed that your mentor holds your library.
Mm-hmm. Borrowing books from the mentor of Solvig the Eye.
The Eye. Great. Amazing name.
Yep.
Okay, let me grab books here.
Shall we introduce characters a little bit, or?
Yeah, you guys go ahead and introduce your characters while I get set up for...
I think I've as good as introduced mine because I picked mine on stream.
Yeah. Would it be just how broad would it be to be like do the kobold campaign in something like this where it's you are all monsters. You are all low level kobolds and you need to tear through the world or whatever.
It'd be interesting to reverse the House of 3 Squires as you are the kobolds.
It would need a hack, but I don't think it would need a big hack.
I don't think it would need a big hack to just be a little gang of kobolds.
Yeah.
Running around a medieval town. The dungeon is, in fact, a kitchen. That's the dungeon. Getting soup.
Not sure if it was in the folder I sent you guys.
It
in
was.
Discord, there's a cheat sheet that I just dropped in.
Oh, sweet.
All right. Well, I did do a little bit of changing to the character. Originally, it was I want money, and I'm like, I'm not going to play that terribly well. So kept the name. Didn't do much different. Beliefs. If any of my companions are injured, I have failed, and I swapped my specialty to healer and instinct to always fix armor, which I'm not sure is actually a thing or not.
You do it in camp.
Armor has durability.
That is good to know because I'm like, I have the armor trait. I'm sure it's got to be a thing somehow.
Yeah, so
It means you
basic-
fix it. It means you fix armor for camp and at camp for free. You don't have to
Yeah.
like do a thing. It's just like, oh, we're in camp. I guess
I'll
I'm gonna
roll to
break
fix
out my
armor.
anvil.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
there, with
you know.
armor, it's a thing that I say you got 2 damage incoming. Well, I'll spend my armor and potentially break it, depending on what kind of armor it is, to absorb 1 hit point of that damage.
Right. And it would be then fixable from that point. Anyway.
Okay. So,
Uh,
did we actually introduce our characters then, or did we just
Oh.
ask questions?
Mine is Takia. Takia?
Taika?
I will definitely call you Talkie.
We're gonna switch it to Taki. Sorry about your sheet. It's Taki now.
Fine. These are copies of Masters. Do whatever you want.
Oh, sweet. I am
I
definitely
am-
renaming myself.
Taki the elf. They're a spicy chip snack.
What?
Have you ever had a Taki? It's like the rolled nacho chip snack. I am an elf. I am the only class available to elves. I'm from Elfhelm because elves live in a town of. I don't get Elfhelm. Like all the other people have like.
I have Wizard's
Fortress.
Tower.
I'm pretty sure I have
Wizard
Dwarf
Towers
Hold.
is pretty built. I guess there's also Dwarven Halls.
Yeah, and bustling metropolis, busy crossroads,
all-
things of that nature. They're all
Apparently,
descriptive. They're not names.
Fine.
I mean,
if
technically I
we.
came from Religious Bastion, so.
Oh, I'm sorry, not Dwarven Halls.
One
Yeah,
day
you
you
hope
hope to go to the Dwarven
They're an
Halls.
outcast.
Yeah.
So
Once again, I will come up with a much radder name for my future sad elf in Torchbearer, like where they're from. Some place that sounds sadder, but whatever. For my belief, I must help my comrades consider every angle before making a decision, meaning no one makes any decisions. Like, that's not helpful. It just slows everything to a grinding halt.
well, the weird thing is in the blurb for that character, they're like, for an elf, they're considered impetuous, but when they're around other species, they're like, no, hold up, slow down a little bit.
Slow down. This has to go through multiple committees before we get there.
It's okay. It's only 3 committees. That's the.
I mean, it might be coming at you with a sword right now, but we need to decide, is it really angry or is that just how it says hello?
Have you
how
talked
does
to
it
the
flow?
kobold about its childhood?
Is this just a
The
reaction to
balance of
something
nature
happening at
is
home?
a delicate thing, and to act upon it is something that must only be done with the most careful consideration.
Yeah, I'm not a high enough level to have a creed, even though I'm like 73.
Yep.
My instinct is always identify the capabilities of a new creature I encounter. So
Yep.
I pull out a wilderness guide immediately. Ooh, Pokédex. It's a Pokédex. I have a little wizard Pokédex that
Yes.
pops up out of my pocket and tells me what happened.
It tells you very apparent things like that thing has claws. They are sharp.
Yeah.
This creature looks like a dangerous predator. I recommend avoiding it.
I really
Alright.
wanted to say that about, a fluffy small white rabbit.
Yeah. Yeah, I am the
There are
firstborn.
no grenades in this setting. I will tell you that right now.
But are there acorns that you could shove creatures into?
Not yet.
Not yet?
I mean, I'm a wizard. I could probably try to make a like
Get me magic acorns,
shrinkifying
please.
acorn.
No, actually, it's the other way around.
Acorn
Pokemon are the
goes-
ones with the ability to shrink.
Yeah, I saw that. It's like, yeah, we don't know. We just throw these balls at them and they just magically shrink and they're just regular old
They
balls.
get real little. They get real little.
Yeah, that was a lore reveal of the latest Pokemon game.
Mm.
The Pokemon just apparently genetically all will Pokeball
All of them
themselves.
do this.
So they want to be trapped in a pocket dimension.
Very small.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Apparently,
Pocket
or
dimension
at
as far
least
as we know.
instinctively,
In
they
Pokemon's
allow
defense.
themselves to be.
in Pokemon's defense, Pokemon means pocket monster. That is the direct translation is pocket
fair.
monster. If they didn't go into your pocket, are they really a Pokemon?
Yeah, that's how they're defined. They're just a normal animal if they are not.
That explanation though is sort of on the level of how wizards went to the bathroom in pre-Harry Potter times. I don't know if any of you saw that from
What, they poop in a
Rowling.
bucket and then the
No,
bucket
that
drains
just
itself?
on the floor and they
Oh.
halfwayed it away.
Oh.
So,
See-
anyways, Marissa, who's your character?
I had an apparating joke. Because we know in Star Trek when they beam people up and down, they can take stuff out, like pathogens. Is that also the John? It's the same concept.
Right.
It's the same concept as Harry Potter bathrooms.
I think it's probably less energy costly to just have plumbing.
Who knows?
Righty. So I am a dwarf. I have decided that my name is Tent Sandstorm because I found a really interesting random name generator, and apparently the code name is what came up first.
Tent Standstorm?
I like it.
It's a good name.
I am, again, the only class available to a dwarf, so I am an outcast because dwarves do not leave home, apparently, ever. I'm 51, and I have decided that the thing that is most notable about my clothing is that I have ridiculously stupid long sleeves, because I like that.
The sleeves go down to your knees.
Oh, they're trailing on the ground. As if I lift my hands, they might get to my knees. Then again, also dwarf stuff.
Yeah. Is
Someone
this
should
just
have
you,
played-
or is this the pinnacle of dwarven fashion? Trailing sleeves.
I'm gonna say this is just.
Someone should have played Ulrich. His thing is golden pantaloons. Like he stole some golden pants from people.
What? Beautiful. Shoot for the gold. Wait, what? Belief. If any of my companions are injured, I have failed. Specialty is going to be a healer, and instinct is always fixed armor. So I'm kind of going for the, yeah, I might not want to be doing this, but drat it, no one around me is going to die if I can help it.
Fair enough. All right. As for
I have
where you all
renamed my character slightly, if that's okay.
oh,
I've
yeah, go
decided
ahead.
to, since you all have.
Mm-hmm.
My character is named, instead of Varg, that was his former name before he ascended to magic. His chosen wizard name is Vector Veritas.
Great.
much more-
Amazing.
Weird. Apparently, this is a fantasy world somewhere in a sci-fi setting.
Yep.
I mean, once again, I will play cyberpunk kobolds if that's what it takes.
That is who I am. I am Vector Veritas. I am the most up-and-coming wizard around.
Which is obviously why those other wizards kicked you out.
I wasn't kicked out. I have my mentor still, but it's not my fault that Hall failed so poorly in his wizard examination and put all the blame on me that he advanced to the next level, and I am being forced to redo my trials. But
Is this a cult or wizard school?
They're not that different.
You tell me the
Yeah.
difference.
I'm an orphan
The
who
only
was
place-
taken in by a weird, old, enigmatic person and taught the ways of the world according to them.
I think that's a
So-
cult. I think that's a cult.
But they're promising me grand powers over the cosmos. That can't be a cult.
No.
The leader promised me that he has grand cosmic powers.
And when that comic comes, we drink this magic red juice.
But yes, no, I am someone who demands to be taken seriously as a scholar and wizard and brilliant mind. It must be recognized. My belief is that, especially after what happened with Hall, no one crosses me without paying a price. He's just, I'm still planning his. It has to be perfect, the revenge. But, you know.
You're not dissuading the cultist aesthetic.
I'm not trying to.
Every further thing you say.
I
it
know I'm
just
not in a
cements-
cult. I don't have to convince any of you. And my instinct is to always map our progress when we camp. Because wizards, as it turns out, have a very poor sense of direction. They developed a spell to fix that, but in general, they have a very poor sense of direction. I think it's something in the hats, and I think some of the older wizards still insist on using mercury in the hat lining. And that's a whole thing.
The
So,
sacred sauce that makes the hat stiff.
Also, a little sparkly in the moonlight.
exactly. That's what's more important.
Yeah, you gotta focus on the important things.
Do we have
So-
to pick a goal before we go ahead?
So you pick a goal when you get into the adventure. So once you know where you're going, then you decide what your goal is there.
Perfect.
So what we will be diving into is actually the first adventure in the first published adventure in the set, called The Tower of Stars.
Ooh.
Basically, the synopsis is: Beholder of Stars, which is a person, inhabited this tower for as long as the eldest of people can remember. He spent his days toiling over diagrams of star movement and their relation to the fate of the world. But no one has heard from him in years. Rumors are spreading about riches, both material and magical, hidden within the tower walls. You are in this area of the world. If you look, I realize it's a small picture, but on the top left is a town called Holtberg. Beneath the Iron Wold, you are there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say these are much better names than any Forgotten Realms adventure I've ever picked up.
No,
Oh.
I really enjoy Tor's settings. And
I was about to say, this is the same one as the Dread Crypt of Skoggenby
Yep.
adventure. Cool.
Yep,
Just a place
that
now
is
known as Dread Crypt.
Right next to Skoggenby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, obviously. It's right there on the map.
so
Don't go there.
in the interest of one-shot time, there are some rumors that you've heard about this place. Like Milligerbound in Holtberg, you've heard various things from various people. There was some drunken gossip from that one of you overheard from a peasant in a nearby tavern, claiming that they'd found an abandoned magician's tower at the cliff while tending their sheep. You bought her a couple drinks. She told you where it was. And that was the first hook that you had into this. And while you were, planning on going out, you were met in a tavern by, and I love this, the way this is written, a cadaverous factotum is willing to pay the adventurers 4D of gold coins in advance if they retrieve ephemera from the Tower of Interest to their master. So basically, this small, gray-skinned, like just dead-looking person that works for a powerful mage said, "There's some interesting shit in there, and I'll give you 4D of gold right now if you go and get it for the guy that's my employer."
Okay.
So he presents 2 pouches of gold. 2D. They are 2 die worth of gold that can go on your belt, and there are 2 of them.
Okay.
But basically, yeah, that means you know where this place is and you have monetary reasons to go there and find out what's going on and bring some stuff back.
Well,
Who wants to take some
technically,
of the
we have
gold?
monetary reasons to leave and never come back to this town, so they don't figure out we never went there.
Next adventure.
Okay,
No.
it goes up in level from here. All right.
Nope. Never mind. We look around and see like all of the quests are just red. We can't accept any of them yet. So like, oh, okay.
I have figured out my goal.
Oh,
Preserve any elven artifacts from the tower to preserve the history of my people.
Fair
Or
enough.
commandeer, take, like, something like that. We're gonna find ephemera, and I'm gonna
You're-
keep all of the elf shit.
Your goal is it belongs in a museum.
Yes.
My goal is to retrieve the star maps from this ephemeral tower because mapping the roads is all nice and good, but mapping the stars is where true brilliance lies.
Yeah, we all know real magic's on bars. That's where the cosmic powers lie.
Yeah. That's why they're called cosmic powers.
my goal is to get us all out of whatever dungeon hellhole pit we got into.
Oh, you're the only sensible one.
I just
Perfect.
want to come out of the
I
doors
guess you
again.
don't want riches and adventure.
Okay,
So
well, I guess
your
we'll
goal-
pocket the gold then, and then Marissa will just, yeah.
Your goal is that 3 people go in and 3 people come out, preferably the same people.
Perfect.
I mean, if they're walking necromatically, I still will have failed, but at least they came walking out.
Okay, so 3 living people. You did say there were 2, like actual items of gold we need to carry with us, right?
So yeah, gold you carry with you on your belt pouch, and this particular amount of gold is set at 2 die of gold each in 2 pouches.
My belt pouch is full of candles. I can't hold gold. You guys take it.
I have no idea. I can't quite read this yet.
So
On
on the
belt,
kit
there's
section,
3
under belt,
slots.
you should see pouch and and then if it has something in it, there's something written in brackets next to pouch.
Gold coins, which I don't know if that means I can add more or not.
There's a rule on this.
How many dice of gold coins you can fit in one slot?
It's how many of a thing you can fit in a pouch.
Oh, okay.
And
Just
this is
thought of
where
my
I start
belt.
to curse the fact that this is in
I
depth.
have an extra slot on my belt. I can put a bag of gold on it.
Okay.
But I think Zen said there were 2 bags of 2 dice gold each. But I don't
Yeah.
know.
I got one.
If there needs, like, if that 3 slots of belt, one of them is, hey, we can just put something into that last slot, I can take the other one.
And as can I, honestly. I have spare hands, and as a wizard, I'm not going to be using them much. I just need 1 spare hand for spellcasting if I need it, but my other spare hand is free, so I can manage that.
I also have a large sack in my
Yeah,
satchel.
but the way that works is I think to put things in it, we have to take it out of your satchel and then hold it and then put things in it,
Yes.
which could work.
You could also. I could wear the large sack on my head too.
That is technically true.
Yes, we need a place to put it.
Yep. Oh, this is.
It sounds like getting you out alive might be slightly difficult.
I'm here for
Yeah.
an elven time.
It's so. I just imagine Indigo. I imagine your character as the robot from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's just like, it's. I put the sock in my head. It's better than seeing the state of the world as it is now.
Okay, I'm gonna say for expediency's sake that 3 die of gold can go in a pouch.
Okay.
Because I can't find the rule right now. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Do you want to give me the sack if I can carry it in one hand? I don't know if I can carry a large sack in one hand though.
Do you have a? Yeah. I don't see why not. You just
Yeah.
Hold
put
it.
over
If
my
there's
shoulder or
that spare
something.
third belt space, can we just put the pouch with 2D gold coins on it, in it? In that
Yeah, I have a.
space?
So we
Yeah.
both, the elf and the dwarf, both now have 3 gold
Okay,
coins.
you guys take it then.
Sorted.
Okay. So yeah, unless you want to go spend that gold for other things you wanna bring with you, It's that or head out, I guess.
Are there guns?
There are not.
Okay.
Let's not start shopping
Let's go.
before we've done
Let's go.
anything.
Let's go.
Out.
Do
We
we
might need
have
to
a
add
helmet? Actually, that's kind of important. I might
Hmm.
put on a. Even as a wizard, I might just buy and put on a helmet. I'm
Yeah,
not
helmets
kidding.
are nice.
Helmets are real good, and they
How
take
much
up
are
the head
helmets?
worn slot, which means they effectively don't take up space.
How much are helmets?
Working on
We
it.
bu- I'm already picturing the Kobold campaign where we have guns, we all have matching helmets. So we bought them from the same shop at the same time. They don't
Yeah.
fit. Because they're made for like a halfling.
All right, I'm just gonna say in this town, it's 1 die of gold. We'll get you.
Okay.
Sure, spend 3 die of gold on 3 helmets.
You want to buy 3 helmets?
All right, helmets are the most ablative of the armor. They take one point of damage away and then break.
Yes. However,
Hopefully, I will be fixing some of that. So,
I would like mine done with the elven style of ram horns.
yes, very
Ra-
elven.
Ram horns.
Yes.
Hey,
Alright, I'll just get rid of 3D of my gold, I guess. Then?
sure.
Yes.
Then you
Sounds
have
good.
your spare slot now in your belt pouch.
okay. Now getting to this place, you know where it is. You were given directions. It's not a Pathfinder test to get there. So you can just be at location 1 whenever you're ready.
Okay. We arrive still fresh. Good.
Mhm.
Yeah. Should we have got like a donkey or a cart?
We cannot
Do
afford
you
that.
want to try
We
and
can
get a donkey up a
definitely
tower?
not afford that.
Okay. I guess it's all going in the large sack then.
Yeah, basically.
Interestingly,
Yes,
I
the
was
large sack we definitely brought
Or
with us.
whatever we can carry, because we have our hands.
and I did look at pack animals. Their weight, the weight you can put on them, is measured in large sacks. So a pony can carry 3 large sacks.
That's great.
That's the only way we want to measure weight. Is how
Yeah.
many large sacks.
Perfect.
All right, so
Are we all good to head out then?
Yeah.
okay, so it's about half a day's travel through mostly on the road, but then you have to diverge off into the woods to the base of a mountain range. Coming up around a piece of the mountain range that sort of sticks out, you see that tucked into an alcove that's naturally in the mountains is a tower. The front, I'd say 2/3 of the tower can be seen, and the back third of the tower is actually built into the mountain itself. You notice that the tower, it looks like a landslide happened at one point and knocked out like the bottom corner of the wall of the tower that's closest to you. So there's a big opening onto the second floor and a lot of cracking and crumbling going on above that. As you approach the base, there's a carpet of sharp basalt rubble that covers the approach to the jagged opening at the base of the tower. The scree, the stuff you're walking on, the small rocks, will shift beneath your feet as you're trying to like climb up them, seemingly with a will of their own. The tower itself is only partially visible, as I said, having been embedded in the cliffside. There's a large crack near its base, like a jagged wound in its side, and a trail of treacherous rocks and sharp basalt rubble leads up to the forbidding entrance.
Well, I know a thing or two about wizards' towers, and if I owned a wizard's tower, which maybe one day I will own this one, though it doesn't look in good condition. Never mind that. I would put some defensive spells in the entrance. So, let's test for that. And I just pick up like a fist-sized rock and chuck it towards the door in the distance. See if any,
chuck it.
lightning bolts appear.
Chuck it toward the opening. Yeah. No lightning bolts, no nothing. It does start some rocks tumbling down. Nothing dangerous, but those rocks are not in place at all. Like any shifting on them is going to move them.
Well, I guess this wizard isn't as skilled as I will be.
Can I find a safe path through the rocks? to the door?
Yeah.
I want to stare with my elven eyes.
You're
And-
surveying the area?
Sure.
I don't mean skilled, I just was double checking it wasn't clear.
Yes, I'm trying
looking or
to
climbing.
brain map a pass up the mountain.
As a
rubble.
reminder, before we commit to this, every roll takes time. And we will get worn down. Every roll we do.
Well, do you just want to go through the sharp rocks?
I mean, from my
I
point of view,
want
I
to
see
go
a
through the
door
sharp
and I see a
rocks.
hole in the wall. Let's go
No,
for
With-
that.
you only see the hole in the wall. There is
There's
Oh,
no
there is
okay,
only
yeah.
the
But I have rope. So let's
Ditto.
use our rope. Is the so yeah, we go up there.
Now, this is a lot more like previous like old Dungeons and Dragons where you going around and messing with things isn't going to necessarily trigger a roll. It might, but it's not necessarily going to. You are meant to poke around before you roll anything. You know, go in
Okay.
and pick up the statue, turn it around, and you don't have to test for what your eyes are seeing. I'll just tell you.
Alright. Well, is there like a safe path up the rocks, or is it all just kind of like a jumbly mess?
It's basically the end of a landslide of a bunch of small rocks and debris. Walking up it's going to be difficult.
If we were
Yeah,
going to
what
use the
kind of
rope to like lasso it to something and climb up the rope, is there something that it could latch onto pretty high up?
Yes. Yeah.
We
It
could
would take
use-
a test to get it there, but yeah, you could secure a rope somehow if the right person were to do it.
Seems
Well,
to be a test. and
that
I was
sounds
gonna
like something
test.
you could use with one of your arrows, I assume.
If we're gonna test, I could scout it, which is the best skill I have.
That's fair. Another option is we just try and cross it using the rope to help one another, doing it one at a time. But two of us are holding the rope to hold the other up instead of using
Oh.
time. We just
Can I go first with my light elven feet? Just slowly.
we can tie a
Advance
rope
up.
around you and then hold
Or I
it.
can just hold it, but yeah. Like I grab the end of the rope and I slowly make progress up the pointy rocks, pointing one delicate elven foot at a time.
Okay. If it's just you doing it, it's going to be an Ob 1 Dungeoneering test.
Mm,
Can I take my bow and shoot an arrow tied
Is
to
it-
the rock?
is it
embedded in the
possible-
wall?
Is it possible to have us all cross in one roll?
Yeah, that would be an Ob 3 Dungeoneering test. It's 1 for the steep slope and 2 for a small group. Make us Ob 3.
Okay. Because I was thinking we do it one at a time. I was intending to do it sort of
As
one.
helping?
Yeah, like one of us goes, and then the other of us goes, and then the other of us go.
Yep. So building your
Um,
dice pool in this game is a lot of I'll help. There's 2 dice,
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we use our arrow to secure the rope and to use that as a beneficial way up?
I don't think we do that I don't think we could do that at the same time as helping, really. Because the help I can think of would take the form of the two of us who aren't currently crossing hold the rope.
If we're going to do this, I can go first. Essentially, I have no idea what your dungeoneering rolls are, but mine are 3. Mine is 3.
Well, dwarf plus rock is the answer then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
you
do
could
I-
even invoke your nature on this being like born of earth and stone, the trait, not nature trait
Yeah.
rather.
Right.
You might know how to
Yeah.
navigate a landslide. Helping does not require the skill.
Helping does require the skill, or a comparable skill. If we have a skill reference here,
Oh, perfect.
and this is the most apt skills for helping are listed here.
I
I
would
have
like to help.
survivalist. If
I would like to help with elven lore wise suggest the ancient elven sharp rock stepping technique to overcome this.
and I think I will help with survivalist, if that works, because this
Yeah.
seems like a natural disaster kind of thing that survivalist would matter for.
Yep, definitely.
Okay. So as I'm setting up the roll here first, question, like, what type of obstacle is this? Independent?
This is an independent test. You're rolling whatever your dice pool is against obstacle 3.
So,
Yep.
yeah, we should have, as for dice pool,
Against?
your based engineering, which is 3, you said?
Yep.
Plus 1 from being fresh, plus 1 from using the rope, plus 2 from each of our helps.
Oh. Hey, gear or supplies then. Being fresh does not seem to be adding into here.
Let's
Unclick it and reclick it on conditions.
Oh,
That
okay.
happens sometimes. I noticed when I was testing the sheets.
Ah, there we go. Somehow unclicked already.
Yep.
Okay. So yes, they're using traits, helper aid 2.
Yep. Supply is
And
1. Is from the
gear and
rope.
supplies 1. Going down this list is actually really helpful.
Yeah, I love this list. Whoever programmed this, I owe you a beer.
So rolling 8 for Ob 3. Let's see how this goes. Yes.
All right.
We're so
success.
good.
Oh, use a trait too.
Does, like... yes, sure.
Did you do that intentional? You use a trait?
Yes, but I don't know what the benefits or negatives of that are. Aside
Oh,
from that.
traits have a limited number of uses, I thought.
They do. So you can. So if you take a look, if you take a look at your trait, it'll say trait level. I think that one's is it 1 or 2?
2 in this case.
2. Okay. So after that, you've got beneficial uses with 2 marks because it's a level 2 trait. And
Okay,
check
so one
and
of
the
those
checks you've
ones.
earned are when you use the trait against yourself to lower the dice pool.
Here's a question: what gets rid of those bubbles?
Resting, I think.
Each session.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Either way, still happy to have done it, so we're all good, even though I pressed it in wrong.
Okay. So yeah, you make your way up the scree field. The rocks are shifting and sliding beneath you, but you don't start any kind of rock slide, which is good. And you make it up to the entryway. And through the jagged opening, you see a dark, damp room that stretches into the circumference of the tower itself. So it's as big as this thing is around. And it's filled with chilly air. It appears that the tower's collapse shattered the chamber's partitioning walls and cracked the ceiling. What remains of the floor is covered with rubble, moss, and roots. You hear
So this tower is older than most things. Is it
Yes.
elven?
It is not.
Oh no. So it's a heresy upon this land that should be eliminated.
Terrible architecture.
How
Oh, these are
exactly
such
do you intend to knock this tower down?
such outdated
Mostly by
methods.
complaining about the architecture. The wizard got it right. It's mostly by demoralizing it.
Deeper into the chamber, in the shadows, you can hear a slow but steady drip of water.
I mean, it doesn't even use enchanted stone. What type of wizard tower doesn't use enchanted stone anymore?
Leaky walls. There's no banquet upon entry. An elven tower will have none of this.
Well, I
Well,
suppose
aside
we're
from, you know-
agreed that this is a terrible tower.
Yes.
I'm so glad. Now that we're agreed, can we get what we came for and get out?
Go loot this heretic.
I suppose it's I assume like dark inside, right?
It is dim inside, which would be a -1d to any test unless someone's got some light.
Who doesn't need their hands?
I have no light, so I can't.
A torch. You have a torch?
I
Nope.
have no torches. I have a
I reach
tinderbox.
into my bag and I light a torch. I hand
Yeah.
it to our magically inclined friend who doesn't need to have 2 hands for a bow.
I gingerly take it. I have complained about taking torches in our previous nondescript adventures, but have grown unfortunately used to it.
These are elven torches. They're dipped
No,
in
never mind
silver
that. Yeah, they're fine.
and copper, and they glow green. It's very magical.
Perfect.
The green flame. It's not
Never mind.
offend the natural
Green
world.
flame.
I keep trying to tell you it's not technically magical. It's just some of the chemicals that are burned.
Nope, it's elven magic. It's a sacred recipe that we
Yeah,
dip all of
but
our
I
torches
gave
in.
up in trying to convince you of that.
This is the way elves do torches.
For
Okay.
those rare
I'm
times when
holding a
dark vision doesn't
green
work.
fire torch.
No such thing.
No.
Okay.
I mean,
so yeah, you
no
have a
dark
torch. You
vision
can,
is way better than infravision. That makes
Mhm.
less sense than dark vision.
That's a thing anywhere?
Yes.
Yep.
Old D&D, it wasn't dark vision, it was infravision, and it made no sense.
Yep. Everything was shades of red, and you couldn't read writing because it was kind of heat based.
hmm
Yeah, elves are
He's
just
being the predator.
elves have predator eyes. That's how it worked, and I don't like it.
That's yeah. But I do want that as a wizard spell. That'd be a great wizard spell.
Yeah, predator vision is a good wizard spell.
All right, so we have a torch, which, if you look at the light sources handout, tells us that that puts 2 people in the light and 2 people in dim light.
Okay.
So
Well, I'm holding torch, so I'm in the light, and
Yep.
I am guessing that whoever wants to stand in the light next to me can. I will assume that as our elf friend just handed me Tacky. Tacky or Talkie? Talkie. Okay.
Cocky.
I presume you are also in the light.
Sounds good. I'll go and poke around the room to see if, around the edges of the crumbling, if anything, a snake
Secret
skitters out or
doors,
something.
I think, is what you're looking for.
No, it's illusions. We don't use. Well, I guess nowadays we don't use secret doors, but I guess anything's possible in here.
all right, so you're going
Well,
and
if I
feeling
walk
around
through a
for.
wall, I'll let you know.
So as you go around, like feeling around on the walls, looking for any way of egress, you really don't find anything in the outer wall itself. You do come to the back of the room. It's sort of dim in here, but you can just make out that the dribbling sound. There's a crack in the wall, and some water is flowing down into a basin that's there. That basin seems to refresh with water pretty regularly. In mechanical terms, there are 2 drafts of fresh water in it, and it replenishes 1 draft every 5 turns. So you have a water source.
That's real useful.
Yeah.
Like, extremely.
Well,
That's
one thing it
all
tells me is that we're not alone in here. Someone set up
We
this
gotta-
basin.
So we got, the wizard.
If the wizard's still here, why were we sent to loot the tower?
Well, wizards sometimes have a habit where they get in these fugue states, I guess you could call it, where they just focus on just the research for a few decades or centuries if they have any spells that make their life longer. And so people think they're died long ago, but they're just really, really hard at work.
Ah, so we're robbing a person while they're essentially sleeping.
If they let their tower get into this type of shape, they deserve to be robbed. Anyways,
Your
let's go.
moral
So we're in a
fence astounds
room
me.
that only has a water fountain and no way up.
A water basin? Yeah.
If I gesture the wizard to raise the torch, how high are the ceilings?
The ceilings are 20 feet, I want to say. Sorry, no, 10 feet high.
Does it look like there is, using D&D math, that means the torch reaches the ceiling. Is there like
It's
a
a tower.
hole
I assume
where-
that, yeah, we're not at the top of the tower.
is there a hole where stairs need to go up? Or is it just a flat ceiling?
So looking at the ceiling, you do see a couple of things. One is that the entire center of this room, the ceiling is covered in soot, meaning that something at one point had fires in here. And you do see, amidst the soot, you do see a bit of gleaming metal, looks like a handle. And upon further inspection, it looks like the handle is to a trapdoor that is 10 feet above you, near where the partition for the room should be, but has since fallen. So there is nothing to scale that 10-foot with.
With a
Except for
fancy
rope.
trick, with a fancy trick shot with an arrow and a rope, can I loop around through the handle and then pull down on the rope for the attic style ladder to retract down?
assuming there is an attic-style ladder.
If not, we will have a rope attached.
Yeah,
to
if not, we
thing.
have
We
rope.
can climb rope.
Yeah.
Well, except for maybe the mage. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, basically to do that, I'd say best skill is probably scout. And that'd probably be around an ob 4.
What?
Yeah, okay,
A trick
you're
shot.
using a rope and shooting it into a potentially latched door and using that to pull the trap door down.
How
It's
is the trapdoor like? We can one of us can stand on the other's shoulders, kind of.
probably, yeah.
Far? Okay,
I mean, it's a 10-foot ceiling, and we all know adventurers are 5-foot cubes.
that's true.
Yes, dwarfs are known for being 5 feet tall.
All right.
So yeah, wizard,
Well,
get on my sturdy elven shoulders.
no, you
Wizard,
get on the dwarf's shoulders.
Up.
You're light on your feet, and you're sturdy and strong. So you
Who has
stand on
more
each other's
might,
shoulders.
Me or the wizard? What's your
Might,
might?
our might all
Three.
starts the same.
Oh,
But I have 3 health.
man, I was gonna try to intimidate you.
I have 3 health.
by being buffer.
If health is more physical stuff, minus 3 for that.
Fine, I will call
The
for.
crack in the wall where the water is coming through. How high up is that?
We should not touch that, or it might flood the room.
It's a way that
Yes.
something from up there is coming down there. I don't see why we can't go the other way.
Yeah, I would like to call for
Drowning?
sandstorm.
Do dwarves not need to breathe? Is that why you live underground?
We can get out of this place the same way we came in.
Yes, but then nothing else.
If you really think we're going to go through a water level
There's
as
a
we go up,
door!
I'm glad you are all considering the options, but I do think the plan might be for Sandstorm to raise me up, apparently, because the wizard is too cowardly.
I need to stand back and supervise.
I stump over to the middle of the room there, and put my hands like this, like step up on the shoulders.
Yeah, I do a backflip into the dwarf's hands, and then I am raised up.
I give it an 8 out of 10.
You're traveling with the Russian judge. Excuse me. Let's see here. Trying to figure out what the best test for this is. Probably health, honestly, because there's no real skill that lends itself to this.
I mean, I'm like 5'5" and maybe 100 pounds, and the dwarf is sturdy.
I stand out of fireball range.
You two decide who leads the test. That's fine. You're both doing it. So.
Oh, no, I have the torch. Okay, I don't stand out of fireball range.
You stand right next to us while I let
Yeah.
the elf do the test.
You hear me
Remember
mutter
to check for
something about that.
traps while you're up there.
Obviously. The spiders go on the wizard.
Spiders?
If there's spiders up there, I'm gonna open the door so the spiders fall down on you.
So long as the torch doesn't go out, let's open the door.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
yeah,
what is the test if I am standing on the dwarven helmet?
Sorry, my throat is
Check
killing me.
out this nature with help.
Yeah, I mean it's health with help. I feel.
Can I scout?
Yeah, you could use scout too. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, so I have help from the dwarf. I have gear from the torch.
No, the torch is just providing light.
The dim light, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Um,
Can I use an arrow to feel around the edge of
can I help with Arcanist to know if there's a typical wizard practice of trap spells?
I feel like that's a test in and of itself.
Okay. No, then I will not.
Do you have a wise?
I have skirmish wise and politics wise. Yeah.
Unless you're fighting or talking to the door.
Yeah.
Druid
All right.
appraisal wise, I don't think I can really do that. Well, standing underneath you.
Yeah, I don't have scout myself.
What's the ob for this?
3 because the door is stuck.
Oh. Do I have any tools?
And this is where a bunch of the game falls into place. Is how do I make this die pool better?
Before you do anything, try knocking on it to see if there's anything on the other side.
Good point. Rap on the door.
Hello,
Any
anyone
answers?
up there?
It echoes. There's no.
It doesn't sound like there's a solid brick
Wizard,
or
if you're
block
busy
right- okay.
studying, we're here to rob you unless you wake up.
Don't tell them that. It'll just
Why?
make them
They
angry
could
because you
know.
wake them up. They'll
And
be
then
grumpy.
we can't rob the place.
You've never had to deal with a
Job
grumpy wizard
done,
before they've had
time
their
to go.
coffee, have you?
Wizard, pass me the rope. I reach down from the dwarf and use that for extra leverage
Fair
to
enough.
pull the stuck door.
Smart. Okay, I pass you the
Yeah,
rope.
because that means that all 3 of you can yank on it. Actually,
Yeah, once you tie the rope up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Cool.
so I'd say, and I don't know if this is a rule or not, but I'm making the call. You both can help with health.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Sick.
Okay.
Alright, it's against obstacle 3. I got a bunch of dice. Yeah.
Success. All right.
I'm so good.
So yeah, it takes you a bit to get all that done, but you yank on it. The trap door swings open, and everything's quiet. You haven't offended any spirits. There are no monsters.
You're
reach-
You're in luck. No spiders.
Yeah, while still on the dwarf, I'd like to reach for the torch to stick it up in the room.
I hand it to you.
Yeah,
Hand
to
it on up.
see if anything is up there.
Okay. 2 or 3.
I feel you starting to tippy toe on my shoulders to try and get a little higher.
Yeah, I go from like seated on your shoulders to standing on your shoulders.
All right. Yeah, you get your head close to the entrance there, and the musty smell of old linen and dust starts filling your nostrils. And you look up into what is a half-moon shaped chamber. Noticeably smaller than the chamber below, this chamber is mostly intact with the exception of some rotting furniture littering the floor and a pile of rubble at the juncture of the inner wall and the outer wall. 3 alcoves are set against the straight central wall, each protected with a privacy screen made from an unknown metal. A crumpled, decaying corpse lies in the center of the floor.
Found a dead body.
It might be him. Let me up, let me up, let me up. I don't try to climb on top of you, but I do wait until I'm like eager for you to help me get up there after you're up there.
Do we have to do tests to pull everyone up through the hole?
No. You have the rope.
Alright. Yeah. I would like to I jump, I do put the torch down inside on the floor and then do a pull up to get up and then like reach down and help everyone
Okay.
up from inside.
I
Climbing
usually
rope is
scramble
my
up your
favorite.
shoulders without even asking, if that's okay.
Yeah, no. Thank
Okay.
you for being so polite about that.
Yeah, well, I'm going to interrupt for one thing. As you stand up on the next new floor, you notice, after you've already crossed it, the circle of glyphs around the trap door begin to light. And that pile of rubble is now sort of shifting and vibrating as if there's something underneath it.
Is it a boss?
Unknown.
Do you
Can
tell
I
us?
Is
shoot
it
it?
glowing enough that I can see it?
Can I
from
shoot
below?
it?
Yeah, but basically there's a pile of rubble from where some of the wall caved in, that the leading outside wall caved in, and and it's starting to vibrate and rumble as if something is trying to get out of there.
Okay, that's buried under the rubble, not the rubble itself.
Right.
Well, hold up. It could just be vibrations in the floor. Are we due for an earthquake?
This is after we're all up there?
Yes.
I'm asking.
It seems that it took a couple of seconds for that glyph to fully, like, each sigil lit up, and then when it was finally lit up, the vibrating started.
I'm gonna quickly, in my I'm actually not using my nature for this, but in my like human haste, try to dispel whatever magic this is before it fully activates.
Okay.
Magic, that's just a critter.
I doubt that.
Seems
So,
a raccoon.
Is it possible to like disarm the magical trap after it's gone?
it's looking at the sigils on the floor. You might be able to like scrub one out or deactivate it somehow using Arcanist.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna like take a quick like look at all of it and have my brain going 100 miles an hour to try and disable this before it goes off.
Matt, just smash it. Grabs him.
No, if you smash the wrong one, it'll explode. That's the first lesson. Don't hold her back.
Well,
Wait, are
wait,
you a girl or a guy?
I don't
Is your
know,
character?
actually.
Is it the dwarf thing where dwarves just all look the same and it's not clear?
I'm going with that for now
Okay.
because I never decided.
Perfect.
Well, hold up. It could be a friend.
I'm not listening. I'm just. I
No,
am
you need to
trying.
consider
No, I'm not looking to
Immediately.
smash it. I'm looking to smash the glyphs. It's fun. Apparently, holding me up is argue with me. So
And
Yes.
I'm trying to, smudge
Actually
out the
do
right
something
glyph. Yeah.
But you must consider every option. Maybe it's here to guide
I'm
us.
trying to block them out of my head while I talk.
The
And do it
guided
anyways.
tour of the tower. This is simply a feature designed for
rolling Arcanist.
accessibility.
Or Scholar, but I think Arcanist is probably the most apt
Yeah.
thing to disable this trap.
Yep. And it is an obstacle 5 test to disable.
Okay, cool. What better way to learn? I would like. Can I use multiple traits at once if they're all applicable?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
Then I would like to use my Wizard Sight trait to quickly magic. I assume it's like Wizard Sight is a lot like Detect Magic.
Yeah, it's crazy wizard eyes.
Okay, cool. My eyes turn like filled with black smoke for a second as I look at this, and I use. It's ob 5. I'm using both dice. For +2. +1 from fresh. It only lets me add. Oh, I can't use 2 at once. I can't use 2. They're 2 separate uses as a level 2 one, according to the roll. At least the roll template doesn't let me add 2 multiple trait dice at once, even if it's from the same trait.
So, wait a minute. Trait. Using trait or self against self. Yeah, okay. You can. I'm sorry. I misspoke before. You can use as a level 2 trait twice per session.
Okay.
And
perfect.
a level 1 trait once per session.
So I will use that. Oh, the other option is. I think I'm going to fail this no matter what. I will not use my Wizard Sight for myself. Instead, I'm going to use my Thoughtful trait against myself to get a check, because I just start muttering to myself and I take too long, even when I'm trying to panic and when I'm trying to, like, fast think this. I'm going to take longer
you
than
got
I need to.
yourself interested
no,
in
it has
exactly
to be
how this
perfect.
goes.
Well, it has to be perfect or it'll explode, so I'm, triple checking the right one. So I'm using a trait against myself.
You pull out a pocket reference about glyph shape.
Yep. Not going to spend persona or using nature doesn't matter. We have no gear.
Yeah, I'm going to maneuver in front of.
Is anyone
this
helping
thing
me?
between you? I'm not, smashing it.
I'm trying to convince you that maybe it's a friend.
Okay, so no, you're not.
So mechanically, the help in this, since you're intentionally failing the roll, pretty much.
Yeah.
If you were to help, you would share in the fallout of the failure. Just
Yeah.
so that's clear.
So I figured I would ask in case I wanted to switch tactics back, but it doesn't sound like you're helping me, which means it's unless I roll all successes, I basically can't succeed.
Yeah,
So,
I'm getting
I'll grab a
between
check.
you and whatever that vibrating is, but that's it.
I figured I'll get a check from this.
You got a bone. You got a point.
Yep. Yeah, no, that had no. Oh, I put in the wrong obstacle, but I failed. That was actually a fail.
Only one success. Okay. So yeah, you go to scrub it out, and so mechanically on the DM side, when a roll is failed, there's two options. I can insert a twist to make your lives more difficult, or you can take a condition and you get what you want. In this instance, I think you're going to take the angry trait because this thing was continually like shocking you as you were doing it.
Perfect.
And it's just not injuring shocks, but just fuck, god damn it.
And then these two are just non-stop telling me, like, no, you should do this one. No, you should wait. I'm like, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. I'm muttering under my breath in time with each shock.
So yeah, you do manage to eke out one of the glyphs, and the glyphs deactivate, and the rumbling stops. But you are no longer fresh, and you are angry.
I do
Or
this
go
with my
dig through
hands.
the rock.
I need a drink.
I start digging through the stuff to see what it was that was doing that vibrating on.
I'm muttering on myself. Don't thank the brilliant wizard for saving your lives. No, just continually complain.
So yeah, going over to the source of the ruckus, you move aside some rubble, and you find it's sort of a very, very basically shaped sculpture, like the bust of a sculpture that's obviously been broken. And it is the faceless feature of a head, and it's carved out of basalt. In the middle of its forehead, you see the same glyph circle as was on the floor.
Do I know what this object is? Can I figure it out?
Yeah, like a lore master test or
Yeah.
something like that.
Have I heard about it in the ancient poems of my people?
This is an ancient wizard. Yeah, I'm gonna help as well. I'm gonna wonder what it is, so I'm gonna help you. What's your lore master?
2.
Mine is 3. It is up to you. You're the one who said you were doing it. If you want to change who's the main roller.
I mean, if you want to lead the
Oh.
role, I can assist.
I take that back. We have the same because I just lost my fresh bonus, so you can do it.
Cool. Lore
But I'll
Master.
help. Yeah.
Help. Yeah, what's my obstacle?
For you, Ob 3.
But I'm an elf. I know everything.
That's why it's Ob 3.
Hmm.
It's lower.
If
I am
the-
also a firstborn. Is this from the is this style of magic from the first peoples?
You can invoke that trait. If you wish.
Remembering, if you want to use nature, maybe.
Yeah, that too. If you want to spend that persona to add your nature.
No, I'm gonna roll 6 versus 3, and we're gonna go for that.
Okay.
I'm gonna use my firstborn trait though, because the elves were here first. They really invented all of the magic already.
Oh, okay.
There's 2 6s if you want to spend a fate.
Yeah.
True.
Is there a special button I spend for fate?
You just
mark
your
the
fate
fate
down.
away and roll however many d6 you need.
Yep.
It's 4+, right, for a hit?
4+ for a hit, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you can roll that one
Huzzah!
again. That other 6
Yeah.
can keep exploding.
Huzzah!
So
All right.
I'm so good.
5 versus 3.
Okay. Excellent. So the reason it was the elf doing it and invoking the firstborn trait is good, because this was an ancient and seldom used glyph marking. But basically what it is there's a it's supposed to go on some sort of statue, and they are guardians. This was a guardian statue at one point, but has since been broken, so all it can do is vibrate on the floor when it's activated.
Can I throw that in my large sack?
Sure. Yeah, it would take the whole sack.
What?
It's
so
a
big.
like giant stone head.
I mean, you're talking about like this. All
Fine.
of this.
Can I take an arrow and scratch and like chip out the centerpiece?
No, don't.
of
No.
the-
We can carry it back. We'll carry it back when we leave.
But it's an elven doll of protection.
Well, it's ancient and not necessarily elven.
Nope, it's
but
elven. I have decided it's an elven protection doll.
Then
All that fuss over a head. I'm going to go, look over
Yes.
at the
Well, it
skeleton.
would have been very dangerous if it didn't happen to have been destroyed.
Fine.
What was it gonna do? Bite your ankle?
Let's go fleece the
We know what?
corpse.
With a jaw of stone, that would be very dangerous. Like I said.
What does corpse have to offer us?
Yeah, I think we go look at
Or,
the corpse.
any other doors.
I think with that last roll, if that's the third turn, then my torch goes out.
It's the second turn for your torch.
Okay.
Your torch is in the. Do you guys see the turn order with the torch in it?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, your torch will go out the next turn. Also, the grind will inflict next turn.
Okay.
So next roll that happens, there's a condition coming.
Yeah. I go look at. I think we're all going to look at the corpse together.
Corpse. Okay. All right. So as you're shuffling around, now you've moved around this room a little bit. You guys have all. There's a thick layer of dust on the floor that you've all sort of kicked up. And breathing the dust and everything causes you to cough and hack and things like that. You're at a +1 ob penalty for the next 2 turns.
They need windows here.
Elven architecture has way more ventilation. Superior form of building.
And we just use spells nowadays to keep the air clean.
Or you could just have windows.
Enchanted windows, so that people who try
No,
to
just
you don't
breezeway.
understand how many assassins wizards tend to get, usually from each other. But if there was just an open,
I
unguarded
feel
window,
like that's a cultural problem, not so much an architectural.
someone will send an arrow through it. So no windows without magical shielding.
Tower is built into the mountain. Windows would be somewhat hard either way. Let's get out of the dusty room.
Yeah, going over to the corpse as you bicker and argue amongst each other, alerting whatever might be here to your presence. The corpse. The corpse. Let's see here. It really doesn't give me a bunch of stuff before the test. So yeah, looking at the dead body, it's a dead body. It's been here for a while.
What kind of clothes is it wearing?
That's exactly what I was going to ask.
Looks like now a lot of it has withered and rotten, but it looks like at one point it could have been finery.
Low quality fabrics.
Oh,
They don't even stand 4 centuries. Low quality
for an elf.
Elven fabrics last at least a millennia, or they're free.
Or your money back from our 1,000-year-old receipt.
Receipts only last 250 years. That's how they get you.
Yeah, the paper quality is not archival, so the receipt degrades before the outfit.
That's why elves are. Yeah, I'm imagining elven quality is just a giant scam.
But yeah,
no. There's elven quality, and then there's human goods with a tag that says elven quality.
Yeah, the elf stuff they'll sell to themselves, and the elf stuff they'll sell to non-elves.
Yeah, that's only designed to outlive the race of the person they sell it to.
Yeah, one of your lifetime's warranties.
The elves have an entire office of people devoted to tracking down forged made in elf home tags.
So,
but yeah, the corpse is on the floor. It's obviously very, very dead. If you want to use a healer test or something, you could probably get something out of that.
Oh, figuring out how he died.
Yeah,
I assume some sort of magical something.
I mean, yeah, we could use the ancient elven technique of pulling the head off, putting a torch up it, projecting the last image that it saw.
Is that
find out more information?
That's not how. Really?
Yes, it's an elven specialty.
That's how you speak with the dead.
Yes.
It's a lot simpler.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then. Show me how it works, I say, backing out of fireball distance.
We figured it out first.
Show me.
Yes. I would like to take the torch, shove the head on it, project what happened last, using a healing test to figure out what happened to this body.
All right, if that's how you want to do it, narratively, that's fine with me.
And I am not there. Now I am
Yes,
out of
I'm-
fireball range.
You know, in the dark with the vibrating rock.
Rock's not
No, I'm
vibrating
vibrating
anymore.
still.
So yeah, Ob2 healer test to figure out what's going on with this dead body.
Is anyone helping me?
You know,
I gave you the torch. That's enough help
But,
you'll
you
get
know-
from me.
getting
Help.
the head off.
And gear.
Also, I technically have healer, but I don't think that matters. Or
Yeah.
wait, does it matter?
Maybe he died because he wasn't
help
an
with it.
elf.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I am
that's
helping.
how most people die. That's the most common cause of death, believe it or not being an elf. So many things kill you lesser beings other than elves. We just don't die.
We could test that if you want.
I don't succeed.
Uh-oh. Okay.
We have ripped its head off though. As part
Yes.
of the test.
You
That
have.
is a brutal roll.
Yeah.
That's impressively bad. I am so
Yep.
glad I was helping with this.
Go you.
I think when you ripped the head off of the body, a pocket of miasmic badness, some rotten garbage, just wafts out to those of you that participated in the roll. And you're sick. It makes you physically ill.
Did I mention that? Did any of you learn anything about diseases in your pre-adventuring classes?
No.
Yeah, pre-adventuring
Elves don't
classes.
get
I
sick.
aced those.
Elven breezeways are so good for the immune system, it's not a concern.
I see that. You can tell when looking at you. I guess the greenness on your face just means you're feeling even more elven than usual.
I think that's the poison that was in this man that ended him.
Perhaps. Perhaps it was just the rot. You know, there are
Well,
several
I don't know.
diseases in the brain. Anyways,
Elves don't die, though, so we don't have this rot problem.
Okay.
So-
So yeah, as the sickness takes hold, the torch
I
gutters
vomit
out.
a little.
yep.
Yeah, I
From being
vomit a
stuffed
little.
in a skull, also partly that.
Yes.
Yes.
So you're now in very, very dim light. Everyone is now the grind triggers, and if you don't have hungry and thirsty, you are now hungry and thirsty.
I'm hungry. Let's go back downstairs and drink until we're full. There's that water basin there. Didn't look very dirty. I'm going back down, I say in a huff, despite not being the one who just got sick.
Now, an important thing with both the sick and injured conditions. If you are sick and you would take the sick condition again, you're dead. If you're injured and you take the injured condition again, you're dead.
How do you remove sick?
Yes, please.
There you can. So the recovery roll is actually right next to it. It's a
Okay.
will ob3 roll to recover from sick. You can also do things with healer and things like that to.
Do recovery rolls move the grind forward?
Let me double check. I think they do, or they mostly take place in camp.
I think
One of
they're
the
often in camp.
Yeah.
I don't think
Can
we're.
I use-
I only have. I've gotten one check. Has anyone else acquired checks yet?
No.
Then we might not want to make camp yet.
Can I use Elven acupuncture to remove my sickness?
Well, let's check if we
let
can
me-
make. Yeah.
Yeah, let me consult the tomes here. But yeah, if you want to go down and drink from the fountain, yeah, that'll clear hungry and thirsty.
Well, I was
It's
checking.
for 2 people.
If I drink wine, will that clear both hungry and thirsty and angry?
Yes.
I will drink my wine since I have angry and hungry and thirsty. And then I will refill my wineskin with water.
Not if I drink it first.
There's
That's
2 person. You know what? Yeah, actually, you guys are both hungry and thirsty. You can drink the water. I'm generous like that, as I hoard all my fine wine to myself.
Yep.
Totally fine. Definitely
I will
not.
also drink the water.
slightly rancid.
In the wrong.
Yeah, definitely
just
not
before
like
it's best behind.
found in a half-empty bottle behind a
Yeah.
dumpster.
Did that corpse have like a wineskin on him?
No, but since you took the condition, you do get some information from that.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, because it's either failure or successful condition, basically.
Yep. And I'm just getting to sick right now. Okay. Sick character cannot practice, learn from a mentor, or advance a skill or ability. Do not log tests when you're sick. In addition, being sick imposes a -1d penalty. Recovering from sickness. Here it is. Fight off sickness requires an OB3 will test during the camp or town phase. If successful, the illness fades and the condition is alleviated. If failed, the sickness remains.
Okay, but it has to be during camping?
Yep. However, treatment, the obstacle for a healer test is based on the sickness. A common illness is OB4, a virulent disease OB5, or poison OB6.
So OB4 is the smallest OB example.
Yep. And this would be an OB4.
Dwarf, what's your healing?
2?
Same.
Yeah, we shouldn't try this. This is going to get worse.
Yeah.
I'm just going to catch
Now-
the disease if I try to treat you.
Just so you know, if the healer fails the test, remove the condition and permanently reduce the patient's will, nature, or will-based skill of the game, my choice, by 1.
It's a one-shot.
Yeah. So we drink the water.
I'd leave it up to you.
We drink the water and we'll
drink the
wait.
wine, and I guess we just stay nauseous.
Okay.
No, climbing the swaying rope to get up the second time
Yeah,
is a lot
I
less
vomit on
pleasant
the
first.
rope.
Vomit on the rope. You go up last?
Please say you go up last. Well, actually, you probably are, because I'm staying up there drinking my wine. I don't need to go back down to the water.
Yes. So what you learned through your sickness, so I gotta couch it. I gotta couch it in terms. So I have to couch this in terms of seeing through the projection of its dead eyes.
Yes.
So what you see is a repeating GIF of this guy reaching up to a trap door, trying to pull it open, something going and him falling down to the ground, breaking his legs, and dying on the spot. Looking at the body, you can see that one hand is severed almost completely off of the body. Looks like some kind of fast knife cut through his wrist. But also looking at that hand, there is a signet ring on the ring finger, bearing a star and moon symbol.
Wizard, you want a free ring? Makes you look like you went to Wizard High.
I
I'll match that
already-
ring to the ring I've got to see if it looks the same.
already have a ring that says I went to Wizard High, but sure, I'll take that
that's-
ring.
No, I'd like to add this to my collection, please.
You know, we'll probably be bringing it back and selling it to the other person.
Meh, I'll keep it till then.
Go ahead. See if you want to get more sick.
Think Dwarf is ever going to give the ring back.
It's off,
Add it to the other apparent signet ring
it's
that
off
I'm
their
wearing.
pay if they don't.
So the ring itself is worn on the hands one. It takes one space on the hands, or you can put it in your pocket.
What? I can't add it to my necklace of signet ring on a thong?
Interestingly, I don't think so.
I don't like that. I think you should be able to add it to your necklace.
Welcome to the
I
Torchbearer
do-
inventory system. It is
Yeah, I
mechanics
do
over
too.
narrative.
But because this thing is worth money, we track money in slots because this is all about bringing stuff that's worth money back to civilization.
Yep.
In which case I'll wear it on a signet ring. Beautiful.
You also find 2 lengths of rope on the corpse.
Meh, I have 2 lengths of rope. I do not need more.
Our rope is still so far good. We have managed to use our rope without damaging it so far.
Yep.
That is another consequence that can happen, right? Is the destruction of supplies.
Yes. Yeah. As a twist, it's usually rats get into your rations and eat them out of your backpack, that kind of thing.
Okay.
I
Well,
wrap the ropes
this was a
around.
half moon room, right? which means it
Can I wrap
isn't.
one of the lengths of ropes around my waist as a fancy belt?
If you have a slot.
I do have a slot, so I have an empty torso slot that I could add rope to.
Yes, actually you can. Rope can be carried on your torso.
Yep, just a roll of it.
Yep.
Ringed around. I'm gonna look around the room to see if there's any like doors or openings to the other half room, or at least to check like is the room that we're in and the room that is below us that we climbed up from the same size? Because it doesn't seem like it to me.
No, you're in basically half of the room that's below you. There's
Yeah.
there's a straight wall through the circle that is this
That is
tower.
what I thought.
Is there?
So I look for a way to the other side of it.
Yep. On that straight wall, there are three. What's the word for them? You know the privacy screens that you walk behind to get dressed. You know those
Yes.
paneled things.
Yeah.
There's three of those made of an unknown metal, and behind them are three alcoves. Let me get out of that.
So we each stand in one alcove, and we get shot up into our robot beasts.
No, you get shot up into three different robot beasts that then combine.
It's like lions.
Where is it? Oh, here it is. Looting the room. So yeah, there's those ornamental privacy screens made from a light unknown metal. Behind them, each alcove has a mirror cast from silver, and it's a bit tarnished with age. They're built into the walls of the alcove.
Those could be valuable, but they're probably, enchanted for some reason.
And along the sides and top of the alcoves are a bunch of, it looks like ancient script, some kind of markings.
Can I stick my hand through the mirror?
You touch the mirror. It's silver.
Knock on it. Does it
It
ripple ominously?
It rings like silver.
Okay. Was it usually glass?
As an ancient elf who's so
behind
good at the
No, these are polished silver
Oh,
mirrors.
it's just polished metal. Okay.
polished metal, yeah.
You want to like scrape out $20?
Well, before that, what does the script above say?
I mean, I guess I can try to read it.
You're so good at this thing. It's ancient after all. You should know.
I should know. You're right.
Might have been easier to figure out before the torch.
I would like to attempt to read this script.
Do you have another torch to light?
Yes, I do have another torch.
Okay, that might help us with reading letters.
I'd like to light up a torch and attempt to read the script.
Oh, none of us are fresh anymore.
No.
And some of you have -1d to things.
Yes.
I will suggest that I lead this roll.
No,
Because...
I was gonna fail it.
Okay, then I'm back away.
I was going to fail the roll.
Fair enough.
I'm eyeing the trapdoor and trying to decide what can I throw at it, trigger what we saw happen.
So by default, this would be Ob 5 Scholar Test. I'd also take Lore Master.
I was going to use Lore Master because I have that skill.
Yep.
Is there any benefit to failing a roll?
If you use your trait against yourself, you get the check to do something in camp when you fail a roll.
That's what I was going to.
Failing is good.
It is strategic failing is a very important part of this game.
This seems like a safer one to fail. Although I thought that about the corpse.
Today, I prepared explosive runes, is what the letters say.
Yeah. So Lore Master, what's the of?
5.
5?
That's
5.
what he said.
I have a torch. That doesn't help. I'm using a trait against myself. How do I mark that?
Mark a check next to the trait on your sheet.
Okay, if we're curious about the trait, it's Firstborn, and these runes are too new.
It's not old enough for you to know.
This is not the primordial language of the elves.
Yeah.
I don't know how to mark the check.
Uses all sorts of slang that the kids these days
So
use.
on your main character sheet, just mark your check, and where it says use trait on the roll template, there's a drop down for using it against yourself.
Yep.
Oh, for self against self. There we go. 0 dice, ob 5. Let's go.
Wow.
So what is this
Zero
I
dice.
can know
hog
one.
thing that the script says? I don't understand.
So in this case, I think it takes you a while. Staring at this thing starts to hurt your head. Like you're looking at them oddly. You're still queasy. You try looking at it cross-eyed just to
That
see if
makes me
that would help.
queasier.
Yeah, a little bit of that vomit burbles up in the back of your throat. You're very pissed off when you finish reading that these are just how to best describe them. You end up translating it, but they're basically fortune cookie type messages. Like they are they are personalized fortunes
They're
for people that visited the tower.
They're positive affirmations for the wizard.
Well, sort of, yeah, because basically
do look
I
like
will
would
be
come-
powerful today.
Someone will
I
look.
will
Yeah.
have the secrets of the universe.
You will encounter an opportunity today.
Yeah, it was less for the wizards and more for the people that came to talk to them. It looks like, judging from what you've seen, that supplicants would come to the tower to learn their fates from Beholder of Fates that own the tower.
I wonder if Beholder of
sorry,
Fates
Beholder
is an
of Stars.
actual beholder. Well, we'll find out.
I don't think they can hold torches. Not in this game.
Everything in this game must be capable of bearing a torch. It's in the name.
So,
But yeah, you're angry, but yeah, you decipher the markings and sort of get some insight into what use this tower is to people.
all right. Does anyone have a crowbar? No?
I've got the next best thing, and I huck a head at the door.
What? What are you...
Wait,
I would
where's
like
the
to
door?
throw the
There's
head
a
at the
trapdoor
trapdoor to
above.
try and
Oh,
trigger that
there's
trapdoor.
another level of trapdoor.
Yeah, right above where the corpse fell from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's the corpse, and above that is the trapdoor. On the straight wall, you've got those 3 alcoves. There is
Is there
another
like
one.
a skeletal hand on the door handle?
No, it was still attached to his. Just
Oh.
barely, it was attached to his
Oh,
wrist.
just barely.
But on the southern side of the straight wall, there is a rusted iron door. Just so you have an egress through the straight wall, and you have another one up.
Let's go to the other side of this wall.
I agree, but also we want to probably grab the silver from the mirrors here.
So much work.
It's silver. Is that not worth anything to you elves?
No, not really.
Okay, well,
We mostly trade in sonnets.
fascinating. Here, in the
Hi.
mortal world...
The value of a sonnet is divided by the amount of time it takes to compose it, and that is used equally to provide a good of equal time value. So
But-
an 8-hour sonnet is an 8-hour sword, which is not a very good sword. You need a whole
No.
pile of sonnets to buy a sword.
Seems like it's an awful lot of work to be rich as an elf.
No one's rich. Everyone can produce sonnets at the same rate.
That's true, actually.
Because the quality of the sonnet is not taken into
Yeah.
account.
It's like
No, just
everyone has their
time.
own mini currency manufacturing in their
Yeah.
sonnet making.
Yeah, it shows commitment, and time spent is the currency, not...
These elves are very economically focused.
Yeah,
So-
except for that one piece of shit that just writes like 4-line limericks and passes them off as sonnets.
Well, see,
No,
the thing
it
is,
only
it's
took me
still
5
time.
minutes to write, but it was 8 hours of inspirational meditation.
While I drank at the bar.
yes.
So, I think
And
I
now we know
go
why
up to a
yours-
mirror And I quickly tested to see if it's attached to the wall, if I can just pick it up.
It is. It's pretty well. It's actually masoned onto the wall itself. It would be a relatively simple test to pull it off, though.
Dwarf, I require your muscles.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to wander over there, and I want out of this.
I know you like precious metals. Well, these ones are stuck to the wall. Have at it.
I have tools to help with this. I have no interest in helping with this. What is the actual roll so I can see exactly how easy it would be for me to fail?
It would depend on the skill you're using. So if you have peasant or stonemason, yeah, it would be an Ob 3 peasant or an Ob 2 stonemason test. If you wanted to just use your nature because you're a rocky type person and you know how these things work, it's an Ob 2 nature test.
I'm amused slash not approving of being told, you're this
It's
type
okay.
of person.
I can
you
help
can
with
do it.
my
So
nature,
I'm
which
going
is
to
demanding.
do it with peasant, which I'm going to do it with peasant, which is a total of 0 dice.
Okay, I'm not helping.
And
I'm supervising, which is to say I'm not helping in any way.
I'm trying to use a trait oppositely, but I'm not quite sure how to manage it in this case.
What are your traits?
Scarred and Born of Earth and Stone. Both
Oh.
of them feel like they could be applicable, but it's not.
Where are your scars?
I think I'm going to, give a half-hearted, I'm going to try and pull this off the wall. Oh, my aching joints. That.
Yeah.
Oh,
The war wound. The war wound.
And this is how muscles work. They get cut and then they're broken. So sorry, I can't get the thing off the wall. Anyhow, independent. Sorry, I'm just. Oh, there we go. Using trait and then against stealth. Beautiful. Wait, how am I rolling 2 against 3? I don't have peasant. How did I get the 2?
So if you don't know a skill, it automatically defaults to half of your health in this case for peasant.
Yep.
You see the
All
letter
right.
to the right of the skill?
Yes.
Yep, that is which stat it uses.
Interesting. Wow.
Do you want to spend
There's
fate?
a 6.
Whether or not you fail, you still actually get the.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend fate. That is.
Unless I twist it, yeah.
That's true.
This is.
Roll another 6. You can press up up on the keyboard when selecting the chat box to have it redo the same the previous.
Thank you. So I'm going into this
right.
trying. Yes. Oh no, I can't do it. I'm in so much. Oh, that came off way.
And then the looting muscles kick in.
Yeah.
That dwarven greed just nope. Fuck it. I
Oh,
need this.
This is pretty shiny underneath all that dust.
Yeah. So you leverage the silver mirror off the wall. It is about as big as you are. Like it's a full body mirror for a dwarf.
Roll it up.
Roll it up.
It would be pack 3 to carry.
And
Is it pack 1 if we roll it up?
You said there were 3 of these mirrors?
There are 3 of those mirrors, yes.
I assume I grabbed them all off the wall?
I don't think we grab them
I
off the
wasn't
wall.
sure.
One.
With that one check, it was 1? Okay.
Okay.
I think we just drop it down the hole for our way out.
I agree. But honestly, I legitimately think now is a good time to just grab them all and drop them all down the hole.
Well, if it's one
And keep
check
doing
for
that
each.
check. Yeah.
Is it a max of 2 checks per
Not like
trait?
Not trait check. I mean like
roll.
grind
Task.
check.
Like you're advancing the grind twice more if you get both those mirrors.
That's fair. It's just that our collective mission hired job was to get stuff. I do want to get star maps though. Okay, let's keep going.
I don't think this one counts as anything cool.
They never said if they wanted stuff to sell or stuff that was wizardy.
That's
they wanted interesting stuff.
Okay.
Like,
This
Then
is
never mind. That's
profit.
for us. Yeah, that's for
Yeah,
us
this is
later. We'll get it.
profit.
We'll get it before we leave.
Yeah, and then we take a short break.
Yep.
I think.
I'm good with that. We'll be back in a few
Alright.
minutes to see how the rest of our tower looting went and when we'll inevitably.
When the elf dies,
Yeah, that.
I foresee my sudden and unfortunate demise somewhere in this tower.
Going out of your way to destroy my goal.
Yeah. We'll be back in a few minutes.